here, you missing out. Cause this show. Welcome to the We Love Wrestling spot. My name is Terry. I'm with Danielle from the Pretty Hills, and today we're going to talk about Generation Championship Wrestling. We have the man who I don't even want to tell you about. I'm going to let him explain it to you because what he's doing right now with this show and the people, the talent he has on the show it's amazing. Me, it's like all my favorite people. So I'm happy to have him here. Can you introduce yourself, sir?
Hi, I'm Jeremy Gomez. If we're talking wrestling, I'm Mr. Gomez, the evil bad guy that owns Generation Championship Wrestling. Go ahead and kick the wall out the way. And I don't know, man. We're doing what I've always tried to do. We're in Tampa, Florida. You know, we're trying to do good wrestling in Tampa, Florida, which has some wrestling, but we're trying to do it on one day a bigger scale. And we wanted to push our homegrown talent, and it just grew from there, man. It's gotten bigger and bigger, and you know, this would be our first show back coming up from we were supposed to have our giant WrestleMania, giant, big, huge show, and that didn't happen because WrestleMania got planned. So this is our first show back since, I guess, February. So just do our thing, man. Trying to put out good wrestling that isn't too hokey, you know?
Right.
I'm a little older. I grew up a little stronger style.
So my first question is always, I ask, what started your love for wrestling, or why do you love wrestling?
Man, again, I'm 41. I just turned 41.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, yes.
April 20th. Ooh, I'm getting old. So a long time ago, they used to have AWA on TV on ESPN. ESPN didn't have everything that it does now. It was a brand new station. So one of the things they had was AWA. So I remember just being one of those things that when you're a kid, you watch, and because it was on, it was good. If you had cable and you had those 5-6 channels on cable as comparison to the 3 that you normally have, you watched everything you could. So that was on, and at one point I remember, because I've seen the match 1,000 times since then, it was Mondo and Hector Guerrero against Diamonds in the Rough, Tanaka and Simon Diamond with DDP as their manager. And ever since Mondo got in the ring, man, I've been kind of hooked on wrestling, dude, because he kind of, I guess I was aware of the entertainment value of it, that it wasn't just guys doing their things. You know, first off, it's a Guerrero wrestling, so it looks good. First off, there's 2 Guerreros wrestling, so they are already making the other guys look bad, and that's pretty hard when you're talking about Paul Tanaka and Simon Diamond. But Mondo is just on another level. I guess kind of like you would equate Eddie.
Yeah.
You know, he was just – it was exciting to watch. It wasn't just a thing anymore. It got in there, and it was exciting. And then I started getting more – he was kind of heel. He wasn't so much heel, but he was kind of just – he talked to shit. Pardon me. He talked to stuff. Can I say whatever? Am I going to get bleeped out here?
I don't know.
I have a mouth.
Just run. Just
Sorry.
go.
Your passion makes you say that. Go for it.
Be authentically you.
Anyway, you know, okay, that, you know, Mondo talked his shit in the ring and could back it up, and you could tell he was just better, and that kind of got me towards the heel stuff. And then you had back then Nick Bockwinkel and Colonel De Beers and, you know, all those old guys that were hokey, but they were, you know, they were heels back then. And, you know, kayfabe was kayfabe. You held it. You were a bad guy.
No matter where you went.
Yeah, and Bruiser Brody and people like that. And so it just grew from there. But I think it was AWA wrestling, most likely.
So you said just heels. You're an evil heel. Then we got a pretty heel over here. What draws you to the heel in the wrestling?
Man, I'm an asshole in real life, dude. No, I'm not. I don't really have. I have zero filter.
Okay.
So I'm kind of an asshole in that regards. I have zero filter, man. I'm pretty straightforward. I guess in my life I would prefer people not to blow smoke up my ass. So I'd rather you just tell me, dude. It's a brutal honesty. Cool. I'd rather live with that. You know, so I guess I'm always just a heel just because, I mean, for that reason, I'm a cool guy. I'm an okay dude, man. I pay our people right, and I take care of our people, and I actually give a damn about my wrestlers. So, you know, but I just like heels, man. I don't need to win. I don't need to be the good guy. I'd rather get my fit baby faces over, and I'd rather get the superstars over. So, and then I grew up with ECW, and WCW was like 110% heels. ECW was like even the babies would beat everybody up and break everything. So you know,
no problem.
And heal it up.
I'm a heel. I don't know. It grew that way.
We kind of love heels over here. You know,
does it?
Pretty heel. You know, I call myself hella heel because I I'm not funny in real life. I'm just the asshole, is what people tell me.
Perfect.
So,
Big asshole.
so stop it.
It's
So
better to be an asshole than you're not one, I think. So anyway.
so let's talk about. So you like heels and everything. So you run GCW Pro. I've heard of it the first time. I was in Tampa for the Colts versus the Buccaneers game, and I happened to talk to somebody about wrestling.
Lost.
I went to the NXT show they had there, and they was like, "Oh, it's a GCW Pro show. You probably should look into it." I was like, "Oh, okay," but my schedule was kind of messed up, so
I think I was at that NXT show, by the way. Pretty sure I was.
it was in like a gymnasium or something.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. So I done came across you.
I was hiding in the back with one of the wrestlers in the last row.
Oh, okay.
Because they can't be seen. God forbid they get seen at a show.
True.
Get seen at a show, you're a mark. I can't. Who watches wrestling? Everyone.
So can you tell me what made you start GCW Pro?
This story is going to be funny. Okay, so I guess I need a little pretense. My shoot job, they're both my shoot job now, apparently. But my other job, I've always done large scale events. Back in the day, I was in music and I was a singer, got married, my wife got pregnant, found out it was a girl, so I got out of music promptly. That was pretty much the year that the food truck scene started, so we bought a food truck, which led into just doing events ourselves because I don't really like promoters that much. Sorry. So that just got into doing events. Then we started doing large scale events. And then at one point I got a Guinness World Record for doing the largest parade of food trucks. And then that got bigger. So, and then I got sick of just doing all food events. So I started doing entertainment events, music events again, comedy events, this and this. So me being the guy that I am, I decided to do Tampa, Florida's first hemp fest in 25 years. So, which was just, at that time, it was a pro medical marijuana festival because that's all that was going to be allowed in Tampa. Fast forward 2 years after that, Hemp Fest Seattle tried to sue me for using the name Hemp Fest. So anyways, those were good times. Hippies are evil. In a good way. They'll get you, man. They know how to type. Anyways, so I changed the name to CannaFest Florida. So we were doing this big CannaFest event 2.5 years ago. My wife started a clothing company called 420 Nation Clothing. She stole my online name, 420. Anyways, yes, there's a lot of 2K games with 420 Nation with nice stables on them because I'm a mark. So anyway, she was doing a fashion show for her clothing company. He's gonna kill me. One of the models for the fashion show ended up being a wrestler, which was the Oracle Cerrios Badu. And I forget his TNA tag team name was Serpenicos, Los Pendejos or something like that. Oh, it was LWO. What's wrong with me? Yeah. Those guys. So anyways, he was one of the models. I'll be fair. His lady was one of the models, and that drew him into becoming one of the models for the fashion show. I figured out it was for wrestling. I was like, hey, man, let's do our first pro medical marijuana wrestling association. At the time, it was just a show. So, and the point was that at the time, we were just trying to showcase CBD and medical marijuana and what it could do for the wrestling industry as opposed to popping pills and everybody dying from, pain pills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So we decided to do a wrestling show, and that actually turned into GCW, the first pro cannabis wrestling company, which was what we were for a good, I think almost the first year of our existence. We were the first pro cannabis wrestling company, and that's what we did. Mm-hmm. Rex, our boy Rex Bacchus was still alive, and he was heavy on weed. I'm just gonna say weed. That's it. He was heavy on weed and CBD to take care of the pain instead of getting more chemo and chemo and chemo and chemo and chemo. So we found out there was a lot of people, that it could help, and that was just the thing. So we actually, long story short, we got into wrestling from doing a cannabis festival once upon a time in Florida. If you've ever heard that one before.
That's super interesting.
That is an amazing story.
I'll tell you what, if you would have seen how little people were watching the wrestling at the festival as compared to how many people were at the festival, there was probably like 14 people actually watching the wrestling. But the people that were on the show, it was just like, dude, I can't believe I had these people at the show and nobody, I guess, it was just totally a different crowd. I mean, our first match out was Gangrel coming out and facing Chuckles.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and we had, I think the main event that day was Saeed versus Mecha Wolf versus Serpentico versus Rios. Our first night out, you know, we had Diamante, we had Big Swole was there, Trishadora. Hold on.
Yo, do you hear his first night out? Who he had at the
Wild.
show?
It goes on and on. Tony Storm, Eddie
Oh, God.
Torres. It keeps going. I'm missing some people that are. I'm missing some people that I shouldn't be getting. Oh, Serena. Serena was there with Max Stardom. I can keep going. We have like 14 people watching. It was great. So
That's crazy.
Rex and CT. Man, yeah, it was a good show. That's how we started. A little better than the bingo hall. A little better.
Well, let's talk about the show that's coming to Indianapolis. I've seen names like Savannah Evans, Hyan. I've seen was it Sky Blue?
Sky Blue, yeah.
Queen Aminata. I don't know if I ever say her name right.
I don't know if I ever say her name right either, but I'll find out very soon. Because everybody, every time they announce her name in a different company, they say it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So
can't forget about the males.
Yeah.
I saw James St. Patrick.
Yes. Jake
St. Patrick. So I'm stuck in power. My bad. I'm stuck in the power mode. I
say
saw
the
the
JSP. That's what we do. Just say the JSP.
JSP. I've heard the name Aaron Nova before.
The captain.
And I saw that you were
kill me for this. The captain, who has a few alter egos in wrestling. Aaron's actually a good friend of mine, man. And I'll tell you about Aaron. The first time I saw Aaron, I didn't understand his gimmick, and I freaking hated him, man. I thought it was the worst thing ever. Dude, by the time I finished hearing him talking, man, I was like a staunch Aaron Nova fan for like the rest of the time. I mean, dude comes over to my house all the time. We hang out. He's now part of the writing team for GCW. But Aaron is just somebody that is hysterical naturally, knows how to cut a promo from any era, knows wrestling front and back because he watches the product like a fan. Also happens to be a wrestler from a great school. And he does a bunch of different characters, which he doesn't want to be known for. He wants to be known for Aaron Nova, but some of his characters are great. I'm not going to mention the name of him because he will legit. He hates it. He doesn't want to be known for a character. He wants to be known for Aaron Nova. But Aaron Nova is a great guy, and you'll see it's wrestling genius, man. It's a smaller guy, not a body guy, you know, not as handsome as say. Well, Aaron Nova's a good friend. He's a great mind for wrestling, and I hope he stays in it for a while. And I'm glad that he is part of my creative team now because GCW as a whole will be better for it. Everybody will be better for it. He genuinely cares about wrestling, man. One of those people.
Oh, good.
Then we got Funny Bone and Super Beast finally coming out for us. They were supposed to come out for WrestleMania week, but that got messed up. So I'm starting to try to bring some people from the West Coast also.
I see Mr. Grimm. I've seen him
Grimm's
on AEW Dark.
Yeah.
He's in a 6-man tag, I believe.
He's coming. He's got 2 matches on Saturday. Okay. He's in a 6-man tag with Forefront, which is my evil faction. So it's him and Metro Brothers and me against Funny Bone and Super Beast and and Chuckles. So I think what's going down is like the winner of that gets to pick the stipulation for the next night, which is Mr. Grimm versus Chuckles the Clown for our vacated championship.
Oh, vacated title.
Yeah, they were supposed to work Mania for us in a casket versus body bag match, and just another one of those things that didn't pan out. Thanks 2020.
Well, at this time, let's go back to the women. You know,
please.
It's a lot of it's Women's Evolution Week when we're recording this, but I see your women's division. You got some top independent stars coming. Who can you thank for that?
Oh, Robin, definitely, the Black Diamond herself. We picked her up the other day. I think it was exactly like the same day that Mission Pro picked her up. It's funny. She actually just mentioned something on Facebook on her personal page about wanting to do this part of wrestling. And I think my entire creative team literally, it was within 5 minutes, was all typing the same thing. We should get Robin. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. Because, you know, who's not a fan? So we've always had a good women's division. Our first female champion was Trish Adora.
Mhm.
Kylan King is part of our women's division. Avery Taylor. Avery had just gotten signed to Evolve. Kylan's been on AEW. We had a good women's division. It's just the focus had never been primarily on it like I wanted it to. Yeah, there's a women's revolution, but I like to think we've always tried to treat the women the same. I mean, but we needed something more. I didn't feel as I'm married and I have 2 daughters, but I didn't feel like men could properly write a good proper women's division storyline. I don't know what it is to go through a woman's life every day. I don't know what's compelling, and I don't at Generation Championship. I've never wanted a women's division based around how somebody looks, so I'm not catering to those fans. I want my 6-year-old wants to be a wrestler. I want to cater to fans of wrestling that can actually like see women in a positive light. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel I could do that justice. So it was the perfect time for Robin to mention that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're going. So, I mean, we've always had some toughies, but I'm looking to bring in the best now. I really want to showcase it. I really want to give the ladies, equal time. Robin the other day asked me, she's like, can we have 2 matches on the card? I'm like, I don't care if you have 3 or 4 matches on the card as long as it's good wrestling. I told her, I don't care if you have an all-female pay-per-view. I don't care if you have, I don't care. As long as it's compelling entertainment, I don't want people treated different anymore. Like, I don't, how many women matches you get? I don't know. We're going to have 8 wrestling matches. That's it. I don't want it to be different anymore. It shouldn't be. It's been, you know what I mean? Half our women can beat up half our guys. So,
And some people fail to realize that, right? Like, so when Terry talked about some of his favorite people, we noticed that, Savannah Evans is on the card, and she's definitely what she kind of talked about briefly in her spotlight is that, she's definitely no stranger to intergender, wrestling. And she was just saying that, she appreciates it because it's all about, one person taking care of the other and like just understanding. So she talks about how she's almost the same size as some of the men. So it's interesting that you say that.
I'm scared to death of Savannah personally. Look it up at her. So
yeah, so it's interesting that you say that, because and I definitely respect seeing that lens that, and that's kind of what we are about here at We Love Wrestling, right? So there is, women's wrestling, there is, men's wrestling, but at the end of the day, we love wrestling. So we just want to see good wrestling.
Nice, good show.
Yeah.
Man, when I came out of music, man, you always wanted to go. I was a singer, so I was the most egotistical one. You always wanted to go out there and blow the other band out of the water, but in the long run, you also wanted to go out there and make sure the show is in its entirety is cool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with wrestling. If you're doing a wrestling show, the show needs to be good, man. Yeah. I mean, again, but I grew up in ECW and all that stuff, man. I mean, Paul Heyman would want the entire show to be perfect, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
I'm a part of that generation as well, so I'm with you.
Again, a lot of our women wrestlers are no joke. I mean, they'll kill you in real life. I mean, Trish Adora's ex-military. She'll rip your head off. She'll rip an ex-rugby player. Kai Lynn, I mean, she'll hurt you, man. It's not. There shouldn't be any difference anymore, man. It's an art, and if everybody's doing the art properly, then that's it. That's all it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You said 2 women's matches. Are there going to be 3 women's matches, or are you stopping at 2?
I don't have any. If she has 3 good female matches or women's matches, then do it. I don't care. As long as the card's good, I'm cool with that. We book too many matches anyway, so she wants to book more matches. Cool. It'll be less for me to have to book. Fantastic. Okay. No, but she really, and God bless her. I think she sounded surprised when I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." Or like, it's not weird to me. If you have we've had the girls main event our cards many times. We've had intergender matches main event our cards. We had Trish Adora when she was champion battle Rios Badu when he was champion. It was one of the hardest matches I've ever seen. I mean, it was stiff. They were killing each other. It was amazing. So, it's the future's looking bright, and she has great connections. She's built up a great name in the industry, and people trust her, and that's good. So, but like I said, I just didn't think that I could write it as well as a lady could for a ladies division. I don't want to presume that I could, and so right now I'll watch and learn. That was another thing. I was happy to watch and learn.
Okay. I'll link the story. I wrote a little story about her on WeLoveWrestling.com because, like you said, it was like Mission Pro and then
Same day.
GCW Pro like hours apart. And I was like, wait a minute, this
Yeah,
dude,
she's making moves.
like, wow, she just 2 promotions. And Danielle, if you remember, I was telling y'all, like, yo, she just 2 female talent, head of talent here. What's going on?
Good.
I was like, it's a great thing to see.
Been long enough. It should be that way. Hell.
Mm-hmm. Now, my last question, because you said whoever wins on Saturday goes to Sunday for the vacated title.
No. The team that wins gets to pick the stipulation for the match on Saturday, whatever end up might be. No DQ, street fight, whatever.
So you must be going for Mr. Grimm, right?
Oh yeah, I brought him in to help us win.
What if he turns on you? I mean, it's Mr. Grimm. I mean,
He could turn on me. I got a couple people in the faction. He could.
Okay.
I mean, if he wants to have the worst possible experience in GCW, he could really turn and piss me off, and then yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I even put that in you. Did you see how he looked away? Like,
Jeremy's like, the playing field's level. Whatever you want to do, we can do it.
You want to try, yeah.
I mean, he brings a body bag with him. If he wants to leave with it, that's cool too.
Or leave in it.
I don't want none of Mr. Grimm either, personally. So that's why I pay for him.
So, before we close out, Danielle, do you have any other questions?
I was just gonna do, kind of what I love to hear. Maybe what are some future plans of GCW? I mean, we know that you're working on the August 22nd, 23rd event, but as far as you can see, in a perfect world, setting COVID aside, what do you foresee for the second half of GCW GCW?
We're back on our network that was on pause for a little bit because of an unfortunate business deal with a certain company in China wrestling. Is back on the air now on August 1st, which is nothing else on .tv. So we'll be able to get our show back on, a streaming outlet, which that one goes to Europe. So we got that going. We're gonna keep pushing our YouTube stuff and getting better at that. So keep going, here in the States. But primary goal is just to get back on a monthly schedule. I'd really like to stop. I'm not focusing. For the first 2 years, we used a lot of local talent, like 95% local talent. I'm going to start moving that to more like a 50-50 split. I'd like to start bringing more people in from the West Coast and bringing some more people in from Mexico and Canada. So I'm trying hard to break out of the local stigma. Florida's a hard sell, man. I think Speedy clocked at like 72 wrestling companies in Florida last year.
Wow.
So as much as I love Florida, I am able to go other places because I have a touring event company that goes other places. Mm-hmm. So Robin's out of Texas, so I figured we'll go to Texas. I did want to hit New York. So I've always been, same thing with my food trucks and my other vendors and stuff and my other things. I've always just been big on promoting people and getting them out because that's their family and that's how they make their money. Mm-hmm. So I'm in a place now where I'm good. I've saved up. I've gone through the garbage. I've weeded out crap out of my life and gotten to the place where now I'm just using an example. I'm at the top of the hill that I can look down and see people struggling to get up to, and I can help them get up the damn hill. Mm. So my thing has always been get these wrestlers exposure, get them out there, get them out there, which you can probably tell from how much promotional video we do every week. That's good. You gotta keep it flowing. Here. Yeah, so it's just that's what it is, man. I want to get the guys more exposure, and I want to get them traveling, and I want to get them known to a base because the more people that knows them, the more money they can bring in, the more they can enjoy their lives. The more we bring in as a company, the more I can pay and give bonuses to people so they don't have to kill themselves 5 times a week. So that's where we're at. I just want to keep pushing forward and keep doing the thing, keep climbing up the ladder, and hopefully not take as much tongue lashings as I did last year from the veterans in the industry, and keep cutting that crap down every year and learning my place and getting smartened up. So, that's where we're at, man. Just hopefully be a growing company so that, on my end, I diversify my companies and, hopefully one day when my daughter's old enough and not wanting to be in ring wrestlers, maybe they'll have, something else to grow, and maybe all our workers have the same for their families. That's it. It's a lot.
I love to hear it. Mm-hmm. Before we go, can you tell us, one since it's coming to Indiana, the GCW Pro Show, August 22nd, 23rd, a part of the world's largest food truck festival rally. Can you just tell us, is there a start time that the food truck rally opens and the wrestling will start on that day?
I should know this. The food truck rally starts at noon. We
Okay.
move it an hour here and there every place we go. The food truck rally starts at noon. Get there early because we average around 48,000 attendees to that thing.
Wow.
I think when we just got back from Detroit, it was 175,000 over 3 days. But the point is, don't get in a traffic jam. Get there early. That starts at 12 both days. It ends at 8 both days. The wrestling starts at 3 o'clock, but we're an indie wrestling company soon, so that means 4 or 4:30. If we start on time, man, let me tell you, if we started this indie wrestling show on time, I've succeeded. I think we've made it if we say we're starting at 3 o'clock and there's no TV going down and we start at 3 o'clock.
But there's usually no, not usually. It's usually not that late. Like you could do a 3:15 or a 3:10. It's not. It's not a whole hour after.
I'm so OCD. Once we get the camera set up for taping, and we actually have pre-shows on our show, so there will be pre-show matches. So, yeah, 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
And hey, there's food and drinks around you. So if we're a little late,
go get a food and a drink.
Beast that way.
Eat, punja, have fun. Please bring the boss some, or else he'll get pissed off and start screaming at you from the ring. I mean, storyline. I'm not going to do that to my work. Get catering.
Hey, stay kayfabe.
Keep it kayfabe. Can you give out your social media where they can contact
I would have started
you?
off that way. Yeah. Everything is at GCW Wrestling Pro.
GCW
everywhere.
Wrestling
That's
Pro.
Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook.
Twitter.
It might even be MySpace if we remember to lock that down. The Twitter.
Did he say MySpace? Is
MySpace? My other company actually has a MySpace just to hold the place if ever they make yet another comeback.
Oh.
You laugh. I met my wife on MySpace.
I didn't know MySpace was still going.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's like a Reverb Nation now. It's like straight for music, and you can't make your page all cute and sparkly anymore, and show people your favorite top 5.
It's not the same.
Tom isn't there anymore, smiling at you, #1 spot.
Tom retired.
Yeah, Tom's living the dream.
Absolutely.
So, but no, anyway, I truly appreciate you having me on. I hope everybody comes out. The festival's free to enter. I think parking's like $5 a carload, but other than that, festival's free to enter. The trams will be driving people in from the parking lot. All the food you could possibly imagine. You're never gonna finish it all, so don't try. Just eat what you like, and we'll be there.
Will you have like an Alka-Seltzer? What's the name of the pink Pepto-Bismol area?
Like alcohol area?
No, I was talking about the after effects and take care of the after effects.
Yeah,
And the food's gonna be so good, you ain't gonna need none of that.
I don't think you're gonna need none of that. You will just leave feeling like you don't need to eat again for days. I try not to eat as much anymore when I go there because I used to go there and I gained 10 pounds over the weekend, which isn't good. So, but it's whatever you could possibly think of eating, that'll be there. And on top of that, you can see us hit people with chairs and do insane spots, which will be fun. And then clowns and stuff, Chucky doing his Chucky thing.
August 22nd
and 23rd.
23rd. Avon, Indiana. It was at the Washington
Township Park.
Yes. You know where it is if you're in Indianapolis.
Pretty big. Just go west out of the center of the city and it's right there.
Free. Parking's $5. Mm-hmm. Wrestling, food, drinks, fun, laughter, TV fresh air.
Wrestling. It'd be good.
TV taping. And if you in Indy, we haven't had too much to do, so it's something fun that we can get. Did he say TV taping? I need a front row seat because I'm always on TV.
I don't do seats very often, man. I don't like seats.
I'm bringing my chair out, man.
Oh, you can bring a chair, man. I like people. I like people up close. Again, I grew up with ECW, man. I mean, I like the crowd off, but be careful if you go out there, dude. I mean, our fans are loyal. They'll hand you stuff.
Absolutely.
I might have to bring. Well, I'll talk about that later.
Look,
But
odds are the only danger is me and the Metro starting a fight at ringside, and that's it.
I'm coming prepared.
Please.
Well, thank you for giving us this time. I will be at the show. I will be there. You'll see my face. Get
You better
Danielle to
say
come
hi.
through.
I'm definitely 70-30, 70% there.
Well, I promise y'all I'll have a good time, man. I'll get y'all some food and everything fed up, and we'll have a good time.
All right, like we always say to leave out, I'm Terry with the We Love Wrestling spot. I'm with Danielle from the Pretty Hills. And if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet.
Appreciate it.